Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of the Legal Paige podcast. We are on episode 36, and today we are talking all about mini sessions for all you photographers out there that hold them and why you need a very specific and detailed mini session contract. Now, with my experience as a photographer for the past 8 years, I have held mini sessions and have learned some tips and tricks along the way. So first, we're going to go over what I would suggest that you do for mini sessions to make them flow easier and be the most profitable for you as a business owner. And then we will also go over the nitty-gritty involved in your mini session contracts and how to protect yourself when you hold mini sessions on an entire weekend or a day, and you have hours and hours of different mini sessions for your clients. So without further ado, let's get to this episode. You're listening to the Legal Paige podcast, where we chat about life and business with a legal twist. I'm Paige, attorney and photographer helping online businesses and creatives tackle their business dreams without breaking out in hives. No more legal mumbo jumbo. This podcast features simple, bite-sized advice that'll have you legally legit in no time. Are you ready? Let's get started. If you're ready to level up your photography business with a legitimate mini session contract that will protect you, the Legal Paige shop is the place to get it. Go to thelegalpageshop.com to purchase, download, and use this mini session contract for your business within minutes. As a reminder, before we get into this episode, I am legally obligated to give my disclaimer. So I am an attorney, but I am not your attorney. All legal information I talk about on this episode is intended for the masses and a large variety of different businesses. I am only your attorney when you hire me and we sign an engagement letter for me to work specifically on your legal issues. Please feel free to seek out another attorney in your hometown if you need specific legal advice or contact me for more information. Alrighty, here's the episode, friends. Hey, Legal Pagers. So one of the things that I really love talking about is the intertwining of my two passions, photography and the law. And so this episode does that exactly. We were talking about mini sessions and how to hold these on a day or an entire weekend, how to choose a theme. I'm going to talk to you about my biggest tips and tricks to make these really successful as a photographer, to boost your business, to make a decent amount of money and chunk of change during mini session season. Of course, how to keep the flow, how to keep your clients really happy. And then, of course, how to upsell with different products that you can offer after your mini session. And then I'm going to go over the legal side of things regarding mini sessions and what needs to be specifically included in your mini session contract. And this is really the very important thing that you need to tune into in this episode. While mini sessions are super amazing, the one thing that I've seen missed is having clients sign very specific mini session contracts, and then things go awry, like refund requests or time slot changes in the future. And that can all be avoided when you list out the roles and responsibilities of both parties, yourself as the photographer and your clients, buying the mini session at the get-go. So before they finalize their checkout process for buying that specific time and date on your calendar. So first, I just want to go over, what are the generals of mini sessions? So a mini session is not offering a regular product or a session for less money. That's just a discount. And I'm not even going to get into discounts and promos in this episode because I have very specific feelings about discounts and promos and how to do it correctly for your business. But one of the things that a mini session does offer is an abbreviated experience for your clients. And it's really helpful for families with little ones because instead of offering a full hour session, you would offer a 20 to 30 minute photography session for less than what, of course, you would charge for a full hour session. And the best part is you can get many different couples, families. Sometimes I've even done seniors. If they just want a 20-minute session, if it's like a boy and they just want quick photos, you can really have individuals, couples, or families during a mini session. And it's nice because with little ones in particular, they don't really have a long attention span anyway. And so 20 to 30 minutes is a perfect amount of time for the families, and moms, dads, the parents in general are going to be so happy that it's an in and out experience where they can get beautiful family portraits without all the hassle of a full hour of wrangling their kiddos. So mini sessions offer your clients a reduced fee for a reduced time. So it's just an abbreviated experience all around. I like to do 20-minute sessions, and I'll tell you why in a little bit and why that's super important. But the first thing we're going to go over is a few steps here on how to set up your mini sessions and what I would suggest. So here's just some really good Paige business advice for you. Because I've been running mini sessions for quite some time, and I've made an upwards of like $10,000 to $15,000, if not more, for a weekend of mini sessions. And I'm going to tell you how to do that correctly. And that didn't happen like right away. I'm going to just start out with that. Like, I had to build up my photography business, but I was still able to make $3,000 to $5,000 in a weekend, which is a lot of money for some of us photographers as we head into what I like to call the slow season, winter time. For all of you in the northern states, I'm in Montana, and we don't shoot a lot of photography sessions during the winter because people are huddled into their houses. People start to hibernate is what I call it. And it's really cold outside. So it's hard for families and people to go get sessions outside. Some people love winter sessions, but like families and stuff, it's really challenging with little ones. So the first thing that I would suggest you do is you choose a date and a theme for your mini sessions. So I know that like Easter isn't happening right now or Halloween has passed, but what is happening is a lot of fall mini sessions are still occurring throughout the US. And then what most people are gearing up for is Christmas mini sessions. And it's not too late to get in on Christmas mini sessions. If you can have a quick turnaround time, you can still do them the first couple of weeks of December. And this is a great time to start promoting it because people are procrastinators, and lots of families, I have probably had 10 to 20 different inquiries on my photography, like through my photography business the past week or two for like mini sessions. Are you doing Christmas mini sessions this year? I am not hosting them this year for a variety of reasons, mostly because I am really working hard on my legal Paige business and I'm taking a few months off of photography. But that, I just wanted to give you an example of like, people really still want photos. So if you think it's too late, you are so like, don't worry about that. You can definitely get on the mini session train today. So I would suggest you have a theme for your mini session. If you're tuning into this after like Christmas time, you can still set some up for like spring mini sessions or mommy and me mini sessions during Mother's Day time, Easter bunny mini sessions, Halloween mini sessions. I don't know, like if you have fairy mini sessions, of course, fall mini sessions and Christmas time mini sessions are the most popular. And so I always suggest you choose the theme first. And I wanted to give you a quick example of how I set up my very, very first Christmas mini session themed setup. And what that involved was I had all this different type of vintage Christmas decor. My mother actually is like an interior decorator extraordinaire. And so she helped me kind of do some different like vignettes of things that were in the background of these Christmas mini sessions that made it look more Christmassy. There was already a couple photographers in my hometown that did Santa mini sessions. And so I wanted to do something a little different to stand out. And that's something you want to think about. So what are other photographers doing in your, little area and region? And how can you set yourself apart? So I did vintage Christmas decor, and I did it at a tree farm here in town. I contacted the tree farm. And then because I didn't have any photos of past mini sessions to help promote and advertise my mini sessions, I did a mock setup at the tree farm. And this was a really good time for me to just set up all the Christmas decor. I did like one vignette with a bench and then just some Christmas like bulbs and lights, the vintage ones that are multicolored in the trees and kind of above people. So they'd be sitting in the bench. And then I had like a vintage sled for kids to sit on. I had a cute little Christmas tree vintage sign. And then we had little joy signs that like families could hold. And there was all kinds of different like just scenarios throughout, even like a 20, I would say, 20 by 20 is a little small, 40 by 40 foot area of this tree farm that I could get tons of different photos of the family. So that's what I would suggest is do a little mock-up, get a family that wants free photos from you, and then you can use those as your promotional and advertising materials. So choose your dates and your themes. I always suggest you do it on weekends. That's easier for family members. And I have noticed that if you host them on Saturday and Sunday, you're going to get people that can come only on Saturdays if they're really busy on Sundays with like church or other obligations. And then people who have like sports with older kids, those people usually tend to go for Sunday mini sessions. So I always suggest you choose Saturday and Sunday options. You can do it in one weekend, but sometimes I do it in 2 different weekends. So people have the option also, if they're really busy or out of town one weekend, they can still get it on the next weekend. So first step, choose dates and themes. And then the second step I would say for mini sessions is select what type of package you will offer. So for example, I do mini sessions for $195 for a 20-minute session. And that means I run them every 30 minutes. I have 10 minutes in between of some wiggle room, just in case like I need to take a couple more photos of people, or unfortunately, sometimes people do run a little bit behind. I never extend sessions, but if I do have that 10 minutes of wiggle room, it's really nice. And then, of course, it's just nice to have 10 minutes to breathe in between sessions. So I run mine every 30 minutes, but they only get a 20-minute session for $195. Usually that includes about 10 digital images, but I have seen people include like 3 digital images and like a print, like an 11 by 14 print. And that's really nice because usually those aren't offered with the hour-long regular portrait sessions that you have in your packaging on your website. And so when you include like an actual tangible print, that can incentivize people to buy your mini session. So I suggest that you decide what type of package you're going to offer. And the most important thing is you, of course, want to offer mini sessions for less than your regular hour package price, and then offer way less in terms of digital products you're going to give them. And then my trick here is you're going to give less digital products than you can actually shoot. So in 20 minutes, how many different photos can you take of people? And that is the trick here with mini sessions is I suggest that you try to shoot anywhere from 40 to 60 images that are like cold images that you can give your clients. Because if you're giving only 3 to 10 in your package deal for mini sessions, then you can upsell anywhere from 10 to 50 different images, which is huge for you making that money after the weekend of the mini sessions. So choose the package that you want to offer, but choose wisely so that you can also upsell in the future. And my little trick for upselling, I'm only giving you guys this exclusively to the legal pagers listening on this podcast, is I always suggest that you shoot like individuals of all the kids, of the parents together, and then like the mom and the kids, and then the mom and each kid together, and then the dad and the kids, and the dad and each kid together. Because what happens is then when you want to upsell the rest of the images for, say, $200 for all 50 images, it's going to be easy for the mom to say yes, because she can't just choose the photo of her and her daughter. She also needs to make sure that she gets the photo of her husband and her daughter and her husband and her sons, so on and so forth. And so you just want to make it so that it's easy for them to choose all of the digital products if you're going to upsell. I know lots of people do like $25 per image, or like $200 or $250 for the entire digital collection. And that way, you guys, think about it, $250, if you have 8 sessions to 10 sessions on a day, that's how you're making another $2,000 to $3,000 on top of the booking price that they paid to book their mini session. That's how people are making $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 for a mini session weekend. It includes everything that you upsell afterward. You can, of course, upsell like Christmas cards, annual holiday cards, prints after the session as well. Okay, so make sure that you choose your date and time and your themes correctly, and then select what package you're going to offer. And then, of course, get some like photos ready for advertising and marketing. Number 3 is promote and sell your sessions early. If you're trying to do this right now in 2019, you didn't do it as early as I would suggest, but that's okay. You can still promote it right now for, say, the first week of December or the second week of December. Like, that's still a week or 2 out. And then you can get a lot of clients in on your mini session deals. I use a platform called RegFox. And it's really easy to set up mini sessions. You can choose the time and dates. It has a secure platform to take credit cards for people. And then it allows me to also put in my mini session contract that then they have to check a box that say they agree to the terms of service. I make it very, very, very clear that they do not ever get a refund. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but that they can sell their session to somebody else. Friends, if you are tuning in to this episode during Thanksgiving week of 2019, I want to let you in on a special promotion. The Legal Paige Shop is having our Black Friday sale this week only, with 40% off of contracts, clauses, and bundles. This is the lowest price of the year that you will see ever in the Legal Paige Shop. And any purchase that you make is tax deductible for your business during tax season for 2019. Can I get a heck yes? You guys, go to thelegalpageshop.com right now to find all the contracts you'll ever need to be legit today. Again, thelegalpageshop.com, 40% off contracts this week only. I have seen people do mini sessions and photographers just take a retainer or a deposit to begin with. Like, they take a $75 deposit to secure your spot. And here's the issue with that. There are going to be so many people who then back out on a 20-minute session, because that's an easy back out. You only paid $75 for the deposit or the retainer, and they can just be like, can you just give me a refund on that $75? We actually can't make it that weekend. Instead, I suggest they pay the full session fee up front. That way they are locked into the date, and when you sell out the dates, they are sold out on your calendar. Make them pay the full session fee up front, make it non-refundable, and then they can't transfer it to their own credit on their account, but they can transfer the session to say they could sell the session to another family if they couldn't make it. Promote your session on, of course, Instagram and Facebook. When I first started Christmas mini sessions, I even ran ads just to my hometown, and I sold out very, very quickly from just promoting and boosting a post from my photography business account on Facebook. Now, years later, I don't have to do any ads because people really know that I do Christmas mini sessions, and word of mouth has gotten around. So it's super easy for me to sell out sessions. But at the beginning, just boosting a post, you guys, really helped me sell them all out. And then you can also ask your other clients, your previous clients, or people who have booked. Lots of times when you just blast it out there on your platforms, you're going to have about 5 immediate past clients book them right away because they're like I said, abbreviated portrait experiences for less money than a regular hour session, somebody's going to book them. I would suggest you go talk to those 5 first people that booked and then ask them to promote your mini sessions, to put it on Instagram, to tell their coworkers, like whomever. Word of mouth will get around by you asking them to promote. And then if they recommend anybody, they can get $25 off their session. And then you can just credit them that back to their account. This is a really good way to promote without, of course, having to buy advertising through Facebook and Instagram. And I am sure your clients would be happy to do it. People love promoting and talking about mini sessions to their friends, because who doesn't want to get photos for their annual Christmas cards cheaply for a discounted rate? So again, the 3 steps we've gone through: choose your dates and your themes, select what package you will offer, and then promote and sell out your sessions early. I always suggest you keep the hype when you're promoting and selling your sessions. Like, there's only 3 sessions left. There's only 2 sessions left. Saturday is sold out. Only Sunday is left. Like, keep the hype on your platforms. And then the last thing that I want to talk about photography-wise for all of you is remember the editing time after the mini session day or days. So don't just block out that day on your calendar for like a work day. Say you shoot all day on a Sunday for like 10 hours. So that means you could have 20 different sessions on that day. You guys, I have done this. And I just wham, bam, knock them out. That's 20 sessions times 195. Like, I'm already making close to like $4,000 on one day. And then I upsell that, which makes another $4,000 to $5,000. This is how I'm making, all of this money from mini sessions on that day. But I'm just like, I want to forewarn you here, like, warning, big flashing lights. It is not easy. Like, this is hustling at its finest. Mini sessions are not for the faint of heart, because you have to be ready to go. Not only on that Sunday of 10 hours of shooting and like nonstop getting kids to smile and look over here, and somebody's bringing a dog to a session, and now you have to get the dog to look at the camera. And you want, of course, to get the money shot with everybody looking and smiling, but then you want to get some candids, and then you want to get some cool artistic shots, and you got to get close-ups, and you got to get far away, and you don't know what they're going to use for their Christmas card, and you need to have enough room for like Shutterfly or Mixbook to put like Happy Holidays at the top. I mean, there's so many things you're multitasking all day. So you have to shoot for 10 hours or 8 hours or 6 hours, however long you host your mini sessions on the day. But do not forget, the workload can be very, very intense after your mini session. So I always suggest that you block off a day or 2 after your mini sessions where you do nothing, like turn off your cell phone, turn off all of your notifications on your computer, don't check your email, and just edit, like batch edit and get all of them ready to go. And then it's really nice for mini sessions when you can promote that you have a turnaround of like 1 day, 24 hours, or a turnaround of 48 hours. And if you're only offering like 3 images to people, I suggest that you edit those 3 images. Those are the unwatermarked images. And then cull like the, 20 to 40 extra photos, and just like quickly add and sync a preset in Lightroom, like to those extra images, and slap a watermark on them. And then in my online galleries, when I deliver those images within 24 hours or 48 hours, I tell my clients, here are the 3 best images I choose. I do not let them choose. I just choose the best images. Usually it's 1 big family photo, close up, 1 far away, and then like a couple of the singles of the kids. Like, that's it. And then all of the rest are in the additional photos that they can purchase. They're watermarked images. I've synced them. And then that saves me extra time, because I've only really made sure that those unwatermarked images that I've sent my clients are perfectly edited to exactly my standards. And the rest of them, I wait until they purchase the additional photos, and 9 times out of 10, they always do purchase. And then I edit those so that they're perfect. And I download those in like web size format so they can't totally tell they're synced, so they still look like they're edited. And then I just perfect them later on. So that saves you editing time. But again, I just want you to know that, it's very intense work for a 3 to 4 day period. And for profitable mini sessions, you need to make sure that you have a very, very quick turnaround. So remember, editing time after the mini sessions can be intense. I want you to remember the word hustle. And if you get it done, then just think 7 days later, you can sit back, relax, and you've made quite a bit of money from shooting nonstop the weekend before. But that's super helpful not only to your pockets, but also you have all of these new clients who are going to refer you time and time again. They're going to give you so many kudos for being wonderful on the day of shooting, but also having a very quick turnaround. They're going to be happy with not only the few images they got, but all these additional images that you got. You're going to be stellar in their eyes. So all of those things is what I would suggest business-wise for mini sessions. I'm sure you've heard lots of different ways. There's so many different philosophies on how to host mini sessions out there. I just wanted to give you guys a couple tips and tricks on what's been really helpful for Paige Marie photography. And then one of the biggest things you can do is protect yourself. Think about all of this liability that's coming up and the risks involved in mini sessions. You have tons of little children running around. You have 20-minute sessions. If they're late, the session can't go over time or you're going to impede on the next family's time slot. You don't want them to have any refund issues. You don't want a slot to open up the day before, 24 hours before, if their kid gets sick. There are so many what-if situations with mini sessions. That being said, ensure you have a mini session contract to protect yourself. And this is not the same as a family session contract. It's very, very different. You want to ensure you have a contract that avoids any cancellations like I talked about. You don't want to throw off your time slots. I suggest that you make them pay the full fee up front, and that fee acts as the full retainer for the date and time that they reserved on your calendar, say through the platform RegFox or whatever you're using for signups. I don't like manually doing signups like through Instagram DMs or through Facebook comments. I just like the easy, here's your link, choose your time slot, pay with a credit card, done. And so you want to make sure that they're signing a contract in that checkout process. And I make sure it's very clear, conspicuous language that they do not get a refund if they cannot make the session. Instead, put the ball in their court and they can transfer their session by selling it to another family. But you have absolutely no responsibilities to refund them or credit their account if they cannot make the mini session. So ask for the entire fee to hold the slot, and then you're going to list all of this out in very specific language for refunds and cancellations in your mini session contract. Then you want to include things like make sure that you're setting up the sessions legally. So if this is on private property, that you have to follow the owners of the private property's rules and regulations. Lots of times people host these on tree farms, like for Christmas mini sessions, like I did. But I had very, very specific things that I could and could not do at the tree farm because of, what the owners said I could and could not do. And so you want to have that outlined in the contract, because I have had clients before be like, oh, can we go over there to like the bigger trees? We need our photos over there. And I can nicely say, no, we can't. The owners request that we just stay in this area. That area is for people cutting down trees because they are the, larger trees for this year's Christmas tree season. So we have to stay in these shorter trees. And then if there were to ever be an issue, like usually people take my word for it, but then you can always point back to a contract if there was ever an issue after the fact. So to have in your contract, of course, you want to lay out the service, the scope of the mini session, the time, the date, where it is, and what they get in that package, how they can buy additional photos if you offer that as an upsell later on. You want to lay out cancellation, what happens in the event of cancellation in your contract, the retainer, the full fee that they have to pay. It is a retainer. It's not a deposit. It's not refundable. Liability involved with getting to and from the session, being on private property if you're hosting these sessions on private property, or being in, public lands and what that means for liability purposes. Editing, you want to very specifically lay out your editing of what they are getting with these, 3 to 10 images that are included in their session. And then, of course, what happens in the event of inclement weather. So if it is sleeting or super windy, or you have to cancel all of these sessions altogether for not only inclement weather purposes, but say if you're sick, what happens? Lay that all out in your contract. And then, like I said, the most important thing is like the late clause. If they are late, you are not going to extend their session. If they're 10 minutes late, then their 20-minute session gets cut down to 10 minutes. And they may not get all of the additional photos that you have for other families because you just need to get the 3 to 5 that are included in their session. The posing clause is in a mini session contract because lots of families want a specific pose, like for their annual Christmas card, but you cannot guarantee that you can offer that during a mini session. They're just unpredictable. You cannot control what happens in a mini session. Kids aren't looking, kids are crying, you only have 20 minutes. Lots of times, like babies, they're not going to, act the way you want them to, of course. And so with that, of course, you should be in artistic control of what happens during the mini sessions. And then the final thing I just want to touch on is there was this kind of these articles going around on the internet a year ago or 2 years ago regarding like characters that are copyrighted that could be involved in mini sessions. And I just want to alert those to you right now and things that should be in your contract. So please don't use like the Grinch costume. Someone was offering Grinch mini sessions, and one photographer like hired someone to put like a Grinch costume on, and then they had all this Grinch decor, and then they got a like cease and desist letter from Dr. Seuss Enterprises threatening legal action for this photographer using the Grinch character for their commercial gain when they were hosting mini sessions. So just make sure you're not using characters like that, Disney characters, Dr. Seuss characters, anything that could be copyrighted or trademarked. You can't even use the term the Grinch because that's a trademarked phrase and you can't use that when you're promoting mini sessions. So be careful of that. And then not only on your part, being careful of infringing on copyrights and trademarks when you're putting together these themes of mini sessions that you're hosting, but also make sure that you put a clause in your contract related to other people infringing on third-party copyrights and trademarks. So they can't bring like a sign that has Disney on it or, a dad showing up in a costume. All of that you want to make sure is in your contract as well. So with that being said, you guys, I hope you learned a lot about hosting mini sessions, what I would suggest for photography mini sessions, the best way to go about it and promote it, and what you need to be prepared for editing wise. And then, of course, what you need to have in your mini session contract to protect yourself and your business. You're going to have like tens of different families and couples and singles in front of your camera at these sessions. Protect the risks and liabilities that go with, 5, 10, 20, 40 different families during mini session time. I hope you all gained really valuable information related to hosting mini sessions. All you photographers out there, if you have further questions, please feel free to jump into the Legal Paige community on Facebook and ask me. You can also just DM me on Instagram. I'm at the Legal Paige, and we can chat more about mini sessions if you have further questions about how to host them or how to include certain things in your contracts. Best part is I want to give you the big, easy legal button for all of your contract needs. And we have a mini session contract specifically for you photographers out there that you can copy and paste and use right now to protect your business when you host mini sessions. It's in the Legal Paige shop, thelegalpageshop.com. Go and grab your mini session contract today. It'll be the best thing you ever did to protect this business venture that you have. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Legal Paige podcast. I will catch you guys next week. The Legal Paige online shop pre-Black Friday sale is happening right now. Exclusive contract discounts and bundles are available to my loyal audience, including you, Legal Pagers, who are listening into this podcast episode. Go to thelegalpageshop.com and get 40% off all contracts, clauses, and bundles, including a mini session contract. Again, you'll find these steals and deals and 40% off the Legal Paige shop this Thanksgiving week at thelegalpageshop.com. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Legal Paige podcast. See, I told you being legally legit isn't so scary. Be sure to visit thelegalpage.com for all show notes. And it would be super awesome if you could head over to iTunes and leave a review. Last but not least, don't forget to join my free Facebook group for unlimited legal and biz Q&A. Chat soon, Legal Pagers.